So straightforward. In PMP, you got MCQs question. One of the rules that I recommend you solve question, read the last line first. Read the last line first. When you read the last line first, it basically gives you the context. Most of the time is the question in the last line is like this: what should the project manager do next? What should the project manager should have done? Should have done, or in other words, how this problem may have been identified before, something like that. What you will do now, what the PM should do, things like that. The purpose is that last line gives the context where you are in the question. It tells you where you are in the question. Where are you? Are you in initiation, planning, exit, monitoring and control, or closing? Then the next step is, that is optional, read the options if you want to read. Otherwise, go back to the question, read it slowly. This is very, very important that read the question slowly, because when you read the question slowly, it basically helps your mind to focus more what you are saying in the question. Otherwise, what happened? You keep on reading the question 2-3 times. So read it slowly. Whatever your pace is, according to that, read the question slowly. Try to identify what is the problem in the question. What is the problem in the question that we are discussing? Every question, there will be 180 questions in PMP exam. Every question is a problem. You need to identify what is the problem and how would you solve it. How would you solve it? Then once the problem is identified and you know how you will be solving it because of the knowledge you have about PMP, the next step is use elimination technique. Use elimination technique. What is elimination technique? You go to every single option, look at, okay, this is the right answer because of this thing. This is the wrong answer because of this particular thing. For every single option, you must reason it, why it is right or wrong answer. If you don't have the reason or justification, this means you are just, and we don't do guessing in PMP. I don't recommend doing guessing in PMP. Utilizing the elimination technique is the way of PMP exam. Use the elimination technique, A, B, C, D, one by one. Use
লগইন হয়েছে বাট ওই যে তোমার ইয়েতে আমি বুঝলাম না
elimination technique on each option to see what is the right answer. And then the final and the most important step, and that is after doing the question. All these steps are before or while you are solving the question. The final step is, once you have done the question, do the root cause analysis. Identify in each question why your answer is right or why your answer is wrong, and put it on Excel file. Don't put it on a register. Don't put it in your mind or maybe on a paper, separate papers. Use Excel file. And I have so many templates from so many different students. You can use any of those templates, or as simple as it gets, make an Excel column, name the topic. If I can make it right now, one for you. Okay, so let's say topic 1 is fundamental. You are doing question for fundamental. Let's name this sheet as fundamental. Okay, so you are doing the question here. The question number is this 1. Put lesson learn. What lesson you learned from this question? As simple as it can. You don't have to paste the question. You don't have to paste, because I'll give you a topic fundamental. If you want to cross check the questions will be with you. Don't waste the time. Just put the question number. Let's say, I guess The fundamentals have 24 questions. So, so 24 questions. What are the lesson learned you get from the each question? Okay, put it in this column. Root cause analysis. This is the heart of clearing PMP in a minimum possible time. Then the next topic, stakeholder and key. This is the smallest way. If you want to put the questions, etc., you can do it. But this is the easy way. Just get the lesson. You got it from the question you did right and the question you did wrong. This is very, very important. You get the lesson both from right answers and from wrong answers. Some people, what they do, they just put it the right answers there or just wrong answers. We need to do for both of them. This is very important, very pertinent to clear PMP exam. Let's do it right now and let's solve the question. Okay, I'll solve this question myself. Then the next questions I will give to the peoples. Okay. What constraint, if any, you will be operating under in terms of hiring additional staff? So the question is talking about some hiring thing. You want to hire someone, you want to get it. Guys, whatever the answer you think is right or wrong, put it in the chat box. You can put it in the chat box A, B, C, D with the reason that I think this is the right answer because of this. So you can put it there. The functional manager would be responsible for hiring the staff. All stakeholder would be responsible. Senior management would be responsible. Project manager. Okay. You are working as a part-time manager at a weak matrix organization. Now, once the question say this is called keyword, while you are solving the question, you need to identify the keyword. The keyword is weak matrix. We know that in weak matrix, functional manager has the authority, project manager does not have the authority. Your functional managers adds to your workload by declaring you the project manager for a new business idea. You are working in a functional organization, so now the functional manager has given you an additional role, that is to do some additional project work. After reviewing the business case, since part in the project, so you review the business case, you understand new personnel will need to be hired to execute the project. So in order to hire the project, in order to execute the project, you need to hire few persons. So what constraint will be there? Like, what is the thing? Constraint is a limiting thing. So try to explain the question to yourself as a third. You will understand in the better and a positive way. Now let's use the elimination technique one by one to solve this pertinent questions. The functional manager would be responsible for hiring. Yes, this is the right answer. This can be the right answer because we already talked about this is a weak matrix organization. In weak matrix organizational, functional manager has a responsibility, but I will not select it immediately. I will mark it. I will, because to use elimination technique, which means one answer may be right, but the other answers are better than this. So let's go to the next option. All stakeholders are responsible. No, no, no. They are never responsible. So eliminated. Senior manager is responsible. No. Senior manager is management is never responsible for hiring. Senior management is never responsible for hiring. So I will eliminate that option. Project manager would be responsible if this was projectized organization. If this was uh, uh, strong matrix, then the project manager would have been responsible. But the question clearly mentioned it is a matrix organization. Weak matrix organization. So project manager would not be responsible here. So the right answer is functional manager in this question. Okay, let me see your chat book. Weak matrix, yes, Pawan. Nahida, weak matrix. Okay, option one. Amir, always whenever you give answer, give the reason why this is a right answer or wrong answer. Senior management would be responsible because of lower power. No, Christopher. Senior management is never responsible. It is either functional manager or the project manager.
Yeah, farther down, I clarified myself.
Option one, weak matrix. PM has very little power. Okay, Pawan, Dipnesh, good. Okay, Ahmed. Okay, if this was balanced, then both will be responsible. Yes, if this was balanced, then both will be responsible. Now, this is the best thing. When you solve one question, as Amir said that, what will happen if this will happen? I can change the entire question by changing the one word, balance matrix. The entire thing would be changed. Okay, then the option would have both functional manager and project manager, something like that. In weak matrix, functional manager is responsible. So now, since we solved a question, I recommend after solving all the question, for example, for fundamentals, you have 24 questions. For other topics, I'll give you 50, 30, depending upon the requirement. Once you have done question, first do question, maybe write the answers on the sheet and then check the answers. Once you have checked the answer, now do the root cause of each question. In this case, what is the lesson learned? Now, each person doing lesson learn, there will be a different lesson learn for everyone. This is your thing. No? So for example, I learn in in weak matrix organization, functional manager is hiring. Okay, and similarly in balance, now I can put it what Amir said, in balance, both of them. In projectiles, so there are 2-3 lessons you can get it from one question. Guys, do you understand the context from where I am talking and everything, how you solve the question? If there is any question, ask now. Let me put it again. Solving question in the PMP exam is the real thing that you do. Is the real thing you do. Everything else is other, but solving question is the real thing you do in the PMP exam. Any question, please raise your hand, ask. No one has any question? Okay. Your Excel look much better than mine. I just opened an Excel file and I started, it's a new Excel file. So you can do that. Okay. Okay, guys, let's go to the next question. Christopher, why don't you do this? Unmute yourself.
Yep. A project manager has just taken over a project to develop a product using a hybrid life cycle. With this project, the hardware has fixed requirements while the software requirements are still evolving. How should the project manager apply the hybrid life cycle for this project? Okay, so first one is develop the hardware with a predictive life cycle and use an adaptive life cycle for the software. That could be because it talks about 2 different life cycles, which could be a hybrid, so maybe. Let's see here. Both the hardware and software should have their scope defined iteratively. So that's only one. So that would be no. It's not a combination. Develop the software with a predictive life cycle and use an adaptive life cycle for the, okay, so that could be. Both the hardware and software should have the scope defined. So that would be no, because that's not. So develop the hardware. So develop the hardware with a predictive life cycle. Develop, so I believe it's going to be A, but I
Okay.
can't remember the definitions between hardware and software again.
So you don't have to remember between the hardware and software. You need to understand what is predictive and
Yep.
what is adaptive. What is predictive? Tell me.
Exactly what it says. You can predict the outcomes of it without having changes.
You can predict. And what is adaptive?
Adaptive would mean exactly what it says. We adapt to the amount of changes that occur throughout the process.
So predictive has fixed requirement or it has evolving requirement?
Fixed.
Fixed. Adaptive has fixed requirement or not fixed requirement?
Non-fixed.
Non-fixed. But the question is saying the hardware has fixed requirement. So obviously we go with the predictive. The software are still evolving. So adaptive.
There you go.
Focus
Okay.
questions, keywords. Focus
Got it.
the question. Your answer was right. But what I am looking is a long-term justification. With each question, you must understand the entire thing. By solving this question, the purpose is to get into the heart of PMP. Get into the heart. And now, if we go to the lesson learn register and we put it into the lesson learn, what lesson learn we will do?
We would learn that predictive life cycle has fixed requirements. Adaptive has changing requirements.
Yeah. So whatever the lesson learn, each person have their own lesson learn. Put those lesson learn in the context. Guys, make sense? Right? Let's do the next question. And just for information, I need Excel root cause analysis that you share with me for every single topic. You need to share. First thing, you need to ask questions to me. I'll share you question personally. Second, I'll share. You need to share the Excel file to me that I have done the questions. Share me that Excel file and that checklist. Where do I stand? Only one person shared that with me. I need that checklist on daily basis that I have completed this thing. So guys, please do share that checklist on daily basis. Okay, let's go to the next question. Raza, would you like to try? I know you have no context, but why not?
No, definitely. Thank you. So the question says, I'll read the last line. It says, justify why the project is authorized.
So it's only one line. Raza, it's only one line. If you use that thing of my last line, when the question is more than two liner. If the question is only one or two, it's two liners. So just go with the question, please.
So which of the following business documents justify why the project is authorized? So we're looking for justification of the project. Scope statement of work, project management plan, project charter, and the business case. So the justification for the project, why it's being authorized, we always cover that in the business case or the project charter. Those are the two things that I would say scope statement and project management plan are later on. My inclination would be towards business case because it tells us why we are doing the project, and we have a keyword of why in the question as well. So I would go with business case.
Interestingly, your answer is right. Your justification is wrong.
Oh, okay.
I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. Just remain unmute. Let me take it here. Nargis, unmute yourself.
Yes.
What is this? This keyword? What are the business documents?
Business documents. There are two documents: business case and management benefit and document.
Benefit. And then why did you answer project charter? We are talking about.
By mistake.
Okay.
By mistake.
You see, basically project charter is the document that gives us the why, justification, everything. But now the question was twisted here. The question was asking about the business documents. There are only two business documents, and that is business case and benefit management. That's the interesting twisting point of this question. Okay, but your answer was right. from the context you had, but justification needs to be there. Yes, Nahida.
So if they didn't state business documents but just documents, then the answer would still be business case.
Project charter.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Amir.
Is it not the case that charter is only made when we have decided on the business case, that we have to pursue it? So the why part is coming from the business case. That is why the answer is business case. Is this the right justification?
No, it's not the right description, because we still have that description in the project charter. We still have that why is also written, the scope is written there. So that is not the reason. The main keyword was business document. That's what we are looking at. Okay.
Hi.
Hannah, always
Can I-
raise your hand, please always.
Oh, sure.
This is a ground rule that we need to follow. So always raise your hand. Okay, Amin, is it clear? Okay, thank you. Yes, Hannah, you want to add something?
I just wanted to add to this, business case. The purpose of identifying because the reason is the business case is that because we want to make sure that the necessary information is determined if a project is worth of the required investment. So that's where the initial business case is justified to make sure that is the project initiation, is it worth of the business that, and then the worth of the investment that the outcome of the project would be.
Okay, but here we are looking at a different area, so we need to see at that con. Thank you for adding. Okay, so again, we get a lesson learned from here that there are only two business documents, and that is business case and benefit management plan. And the purpose of project charter is also to authorize. Guys, look at this thing. This word was a very interesting word. Whenever we use a word authorize, it is project charter. The purpose of the project charter is to authorize the project. This is the pet word of PMP, a keyword, but this business document take overseas from that. Okay, let's do one more question. Okay, who would like to answer? Kaleem, would you like to answer?
Yeah, fine. What is the difference between a predictive life cycle and adaptive life cycle? So we'll go for the elimination. There is no difference. No, there is a difference. So this goes out. There is no difference should be crossed out. Then we have predictive life cycle is plan driven. Adaptive life cycle is change driven. Yes, this can be right. No. Then we have the predictive follows the same pattern for each iteration. The adaptive lifecycle changes its approach based upon performance growth of the project results. We can mark this as right, and then we'll look into it.
Next.
No, the last one is the cross out. Predictive lifecycle forecast, completion, adaptive lifecycle. Yeah, we can just cross out the last one. So we need to decide between option 1 and 3. So we'll go with option A.
Why?
Because it's very straightforward. Predictive life cycle is plan driven because your plan is and the delivery is concrete here. Adaptive life cycle is change driven. It's so I believe this is right.
Okay, thank you very much. And this is the right answer, and we just discussed it a while ago. What is the difference between predictive and adaptive? And guys, I just message also in the chat box. Jipnesh, you were not giving justification. Wasim, Sohail, please don't just put the answer A, B, C, D. There is no benefit of that. Okay, please put the reason why do you think that answer is right or that answer is wrong, so that I can see what you are thinking and from where we can do. You will, even if you do 10,000 questions all over the whatever the available is on internet, you will not get even a single question the same in the exam. So questions are important, but the real important thing is to understand the context, what is behind this, why this is the right answer and why this is the wrong answer. Shahid Imran, last question of fundamental. It was the last question. I solved one of that. Anyone has any question regarding solving the question, please, you can ask. You can raise your hand and you can ask. Okay. So meanwhile, I'll start communication questions. Now these will be with the timer, but don't worry about the timer. You solve it at your own pace, whatever you think is the right answer. Okay. Ashai, please. Shahid,
Yes, sir.
unmute yourself and solve the question. Shahid, I'm unable to hear you.
Yeah. The difference between push and pull communication can be described as
Sorry. Sorry.
push communication requires feedback.
My bad. I opened the communication question. I should be opening stakeholder questions. And I was like, what? Push communication? We haven't studied push communication so far. How can they answer this question? Okay, Shahid. This one. Please. Shahid, please. It's a very interesting question.
Yeah. At what stage of the project do a stakeholder have the greatest ability to influence a project? A, during execution. B, at project start. C, throughout the project life cycle. D, at the project end. So, at what stage of the project do stakeholders have the greatest ability to influence a project? So, according to me, I think it's a D, at the start of the project,
Why?
because stakeholders do the responsibility to involve in the project planning and decisions. That's why I think the stakeholders have ability to influence a project at the time of project start.
Okay. I like the justification, and that is an important thing. And Snigdha, Nargis, Suhail, again, I'm not seeing the justification from you guys in the chat box. Please put the justification. Okay, thank you. What happened basically? Let's say this is the project. Our project just started. Okay. This is a time frame. Now the first thing in the project is project charter. That is the first thing. If the project is stakeholders cancel it, it's the end of the project now. So they have the highest influence.
Yes.
As you move into the project, in planning, there's a cost involved. They have already spent the money. They have already invested in it. So they become less resistant or less effective to cancel that thing. And in execution, everything is there. So it becomes more costly to change the project. In the start, the cost of change is very low. As you move, the cost of change is very high. At the start, the influence is very high. As you move forward, the influence goes on decreasing. Okay. Okay, Madhu, please.
Yeah. So which data representation technique is used during the planned stakeholder engagement process to visualize, depict the current versus desired engagement level for a stakeholder? Okay, so which data representation technique is used? Achha, what is the technique? Is used during the planned stakeholder engagement process to visualize current versus desired engagement. Okay, stakeholder register, power driven communication strategy. Stakeholder engagement assessment matrix. So it is asking for the data presentation technique, and it is talking about the planned stakeholder engagement process. So it is asking for current versus desired, which we need to showcase. So it could be a stakeholder register, because if I just start eliminating it, power interest grid is not the one, because I feel when it comes to a presentation, representation technique, something, we will be presenting a stakeholder, the stakeholder register.
Okay. What the question was asking? Current engagement and desired engagement.
Yes, right.
You remember yesterday we talked about a matrix that was showing, and we discussed at length: unaware, resistant, neutral, supportive, leading.
Right.
Current engagement of a stakeholder and then desired. This is a stakeholder engagement matrix. This is a stakeholder engagement matrix, and this is a document. It's not a tool or technique.
Right.
So I was expecting a lot better from you, brother. I was expecting a lot better from you. The way I saw you were solving questions, I was expecting a lot better from you. But you maybe
I was in the hurry to solve it. I think
Why?
something I missed it.
Why
That
you
is something the lesson learned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next time I hope better thing from you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Saravana, would you like to answer the question?
Yeah. So which of the following is a tool and technique used during the managed stakeholder engagement process to achieve support or agreement that supports the work of the project and to resolve conflicts within the team or with stakeholders? Okay. So option A, negotiation, political awareness, cultural awareness, and observation and conversation. Okay. So here it is talking about the conflicts. So when we have conflicts, we will have to negotiate. Yeah.
Okay. When we have a conflict, we have to
negotiation be the right option, I feel. A political awareness, cultural awareness. Okay.
Okay.
We can keep negotiation. We can eliminate political awareness and observation and conversation. Yeah. When we have conflicts, it's not just we have to observe it. We'll have to resolve it. So when resolving it, it should be a negotiation.
I really like the way how you solve the question. It can be conflict management or it can be negotiation. Well done, brother. Well done. I really like the way how you solve it. Ahmad, can you solve the question next?
Yes, sir. Due to a recent merger, your company has increased its headcount by 25%. The influence of individual makes the process of stakeholder identification and analyze more difficult. Which of the following activities should the team not engage in while completing stakeholder analysis? So the thing is, team not engage in while completing stakeholder analysis. Classifying stakeholder to define a approach strategy, analyzing the communication requirement of stakeholder, identifying the potential impact each stakeholder could generate. Due to a recent merger, your company has increased its headcount by 25%. Makes the process.
Yes, brother.
Classifying to define a not be right answer, analyzing the potential impact. It could be C, identifying the potential impact.
What the question is actually asking? Tell me that thing. What is the keyword? What is the question actually asking? Tell me that thing.
The question is asking which of the following activities should the team not engage in while completing stakeholder analysis? While you are doing stakeholder analysis, which of the following activities the team should not be engaged? So it's the, I believe the answer is B, analyzing the communication requirement of stakeholder.
Why? Why this is the answer?
Because these communication requirements, it should come under like a communication management plan.
Good. Well done. Well done. Well done. Thank you.
That's the thing.
Thank you. Okay. Suhail Saab, Suhail Iqbal. Suhail Iqbal, would you like to solve the question?
Yes, okay, I will. Question number 5. A project manager is known across the organization for his skills and the competency with which he manages his projects. Okay. On this current project, you have observed that he spends significant time in communication with key stakeholders on the status and result of key issues, as well as project status and risk, conflicts and risk. Which of the following best describe the scope of what he's trying to achieve? Stakeholders, planning, resource man. It's B, managing stakeholder engagement.
How?
Because this question is regarding the communication between the project team and the stakeholders.
Well done. I really like the way how you answered it. It was about he was executing something, working. So that is managing stakeholder. So guys, just to put something that we discussed yesterday, initiation, you just do 3 things. You identify the stakeholders, you do the charter, you do the assumption law. In planning, you are planning to do everything. In execution, you are actually doing it. So in this question, he was talking to them, working them, solving their conflict, resolving the issues. So this is managing, that is execution. And in monitoring and control, you are calculating the variance analysis. So we were not calculating the variance analysis in this. So these are 10 questions that I wanted to solve it. So if anyone has any question, please do ask.
What was the answer for the second last question? I think I missed it.
Second last question, you can check in the previous one. Nahida did answer that. That was the answer. I don't remember like this. Okay, it was communication. B was the option. You should ask at that time when we are discussing that question. The next. Okay, anyone else? Okay.